broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today for the homegoing celebration of Mr. Shawn, who has gone up to yonder. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into AFTERBUZZ TV for Power. I am your host, Bamm Ericsen, and I would like to introduce my panel.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Kennelia.
I am Ayers.
And I'm Janeisha John.
And we have a very special guest in the building via Skype. He is in New York right now, and he is the character of Ruiz. Please welcome to AFTERBUZZ, Mr. Luis Antonio Ramos.
Yeah! What up?
We are so happy that you are here. Thank you so much for joining us via Skype. Let's just get right into it. So my question to everyone is, should the rest of the drug lords, should they really trust Kanan's plan?
Ooh, no.
You have to turn the cap to the back for that one.
Trust the plan being that, A, to kill Ghost by tomorrow.
Right.
And then B, to trust him since Lobos is in jail, Tommy's in jail, and how is Kanan going to get everyone on board?
I think in the scene you saw, I talked about this with a couple of people. You see a lot of doubt in everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody's kind of like on the fence with it. But they're not with him when they're going to go do this. So you never really know. You don't know. We have long talks before all these scenes. I just want to say hi to everybody. Hello, Robin and all of y'all.
Hey!
It's quite a, man, it is just, you just never know which way this thing's going to go. With the writing, the actors sit around and we talk about it. We really kind of, like me and 50 and Rotimi and Rush, the other cat. We sat down and we talked about it, and we don't know. We don't really know which way it's going to go. It's touchy, man. And the game is the street game is very it can go either way at any time, as you know.
I have to agree. I mean, watching the episode, I would say that everyone looked like they weren't sure. And even what's his name?
Vladimir.
Yeah, Vladimir. He was even like, for your sake, I hope you're right. Because nobody seems to have that reassurance that this is what's going to go down. So I think in the back of everyone's minds, they're already plotting. Okay, what's next? What are we gonna do if this doesn't work out? So that's what I think.
There's as we get into season 3, and we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, there's a lot of loose ends that have been tied up in this second season, and there's a lot of things kind of like, how do these two relate to this, and how did they wind up together, and what's their history, and certainly with all of these guys that Ghost is working with, there's a lot of that.
Okay, you said when we get to season 3, so it's safe to say that you are alive and you make it. Because I'm notorious for killing people.
We, as a show, get to season 3. I don't know what happens with me.
Right.
I couldn't tell you.
Well, we actually have to say, I'm going to speak for all of us, that you have us questioning every episode, really, like, what's up with Ruiz, like, trying to get a seat at the table. Like, you've done a great job thus far playing Ruiz, and, we're fans of your work, but what's up with Ruiz trying to get a seat at the table? What's going on?
He's playing, Víbora, actually, Carlos Víbora Ruiz. Víbora means snake, and certainly, I took that to heart as an actor. That that was my go-to thing. Every episode, every scene. Remember what this guy's doing. Sometimes you know he's there, sometimes you don't know he's there. Sometimes you really shouldn't know if or not he's going to bite. Or not, or where he's situated. And this guy, we're not talking about a dumb guy. We're talking about a guy that's got a lot of businesses. He's got the gym. Yeah. He's got laundromats. He's the major mover right now for Ghost. So there's a lot with this cat that's like still kind of unfolding. And what exactly it is that he wants to do. So we don't really know what his deal is, but he's seeing and watching everything. That's how the street is. You got to watch every corner. You got to watch every light. You got to watch every car that passes by. You can never fall. The minute that you fall asleep, trouble happens. We've seen that already in this show. I mean, remember, the theme of this whole show is power. Yeah. And anybody that falls asleep for a second is going to get burned. Yeah. Anybody. Angela, Ghost, Tommy, his mother, Mom, Debbie Morgan, everybody. Anybody that falls asleep for a second is going to get burned. So you can.
Great point.
I did want to touch on his character. Luis, I think, again, you play an amazing role as Ruiz, and I like that he's always cool, calm, and collected with a cigar in his hand. It's just real cool. Just there, just thinking and just like analyzing everything. And I admire that, especially in this episode. I noticed that you always have that cigar. You're just really sitting there and analyzing what's going on. So.
And he's older. Thank you for that. Those are little choices that not just myself, everybody's making. Joseph with the chain, the phone for Ghost becomes an extension of who he is. Wow. Any pen in the hand of Angela becomes like a teacher's pointer stick. Notori with the hair and her thought process. Everybody has something. Every actor needs something that anchors them, so that so their hands aren't doing all this like what I'm doing now.
Great point.
I have a question. So you guys all want your character all want Ghost dead, but he's the only person that can get close to Lobos. So if you kill him, what make you guys think that Ruiz is going to get a seat at the table if you kill him, and then B, you don't have access to him, so why kill him? Why just keep him close?
Yeah, I'm not, as I'm going along, and as you've seen, I'm not sure that Ruiz are really completely on board with this. So we'll see how that evolves. Okay. I'm not really sure anybody's on board with this because, as you saw in that very pivotal scene with Kanan, it's kind of like, this is really not a good move. We're not really sure that this is a good move. When he comes to meet me at the boxing gym, you're talking about taking these two guys out. I mean, what are we doing here? This could go really bad, and so not just myself, but Vladdy's also not feeling it. My boys on the side. When I talk to Frankie G, me and Frankie G always. I remember in that scene, I look at him and kind of go, I don't know. I'm not really sure about all of this. So, and this is evolving as we go. As Courtney and David Knoller and we all watch this thing, it's kind of like, oh, okay, maybe we go this way. So we don't really know how this is going to go. I don't know that killing Ghost is a good idea, but that's the fan watching.
Right. Okay. But you've made a great point. You said particularly with that scene, there was a whole lot of doubt, which is, a great point and something that I think that we were all clearly able to see. And from my standpoint, it just seems like maybe not taking Ghost out is the way to go, but Ruiz just wants to be there and not be so on the outside. And he just, literally wants a seat at the table but there's something there with that character, with Ghost, because there's a specific scene that we actually talked about. I believe it was episode 7, if I'm not mistaken, where Ghost was walking away from Ruiz and he just gave him this stare down as he walked away. I mean, it was such disdain. So there's clearly something between the two characters where, I don't know that Ruiz necessarily wants Ghost dead, but it's something there that we're, definitely
there's something
trying to
he's just not getting. Ruiz is not getting. He's not getting the respect he deserves for the job that he's doing in any company. Remember, let's not think about this as a street thing. Let's think about this as a company, a CEO, and a assistant CEO, for lack of a better way to put it, on a Wall Street firm. It's like he wants to be partner. He wants to be partner in the law firm, and he's being denied. So that in and of itself, now you add the street element to it, and it becomes, and as you said, you said it perfectly. It becomes disdain, because now it's disrespectful. Now it's something else. Now it's not even about the seat on the table.
Right.
Remember, the street fight isn't always about the street fight. The street fight, the reason for the street fight always gets lost, because then it becomes about barking chihuahuas and pride.
Yeah. Wow.
So this is about pride. This is a Latin man, a family, and let's not for a second dismiss that Latin thing. Latin pride, that rooster thing. It's like, hey man, what are you doing? We've discussed this several times. Given what I've done, we should be moving in a certain direction, and we're not. And no one in any business, be it a law firm, advertising, the street, likes being held down.
True.
Very true. Because Ruiz is a powerful man too. From what we see, it's like that's perfectly said, because it does become a pride thing too. Like, yo, I'm doing my thing. I'm out here making it happen just like you. So I totally can see that. That's really good.
And me and Omari, Omari and I talk about these scenes at length before we do them, and there are times where there have been certain scenes where we just kind of let it flow, and then there's been a couple of scenes where him and I have looked at each other and said, we need to go dark here, really, really dark. And that was one of those scenes where him and I, the actors, Omari and Luis, said, we need to take this somewhere else, because there's history here with these two, and something's going on here that's much more, that has nothing to do with the drugs. It's like I told you, sometimes the street fight, because it's not what about they're originally fighting about.
Right.
It's about something else.
I think that's a great point that you bring up, and you were just mentioning how you and Omari would sometimes have conversations in moments. For me, I credit that as just your acting ability and your experience and being in the game for so long. And so I would like to ask you just a couple questions as far as this role. I look at all your credits and I literally think, okay, well, I wonder did you have to audition for this role, or did they give you this role? Because you've been in the game for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
I actually, it's funny. I was doing a show called Lucky 7 for ABC, and the show gets canceled, and I'm in Toronto, and I'm like just kind of like laying back. We've done 9 episodes. You can watch it on one of those internet things. I'm catching up. I'm catching up to this whole like social media kind of thing. I'm learning as I go along, and at any rate, the show gets canceled. I stay in Toronto for a little while, and I'm on my way back, and I'm just kind of refreshed. I just kind of like, okay, time to go back to New York, time to get back into the grind. And on the way back, I get a phone call from my manager. Said, these people want to meet you tomorrow. It's a Thursday. They want to meet me on a Friday. Wow. To make a long story short, by Monday, there I was in the read-through, and I was like, crazy. I looked around, I listened to the read-through, and I was like, I'm not at ABC anymore. It was a whole nother thing, and it's funny. You know what's funny is that I'm classically trained. I went to a conservatory for theater. I studied at NYU for a couple of years. I look at something like, and I talked to Courtney about this. I look at something like Power, and to me it's Shakespearean in nature. It has a very Macbeth, King Lear type of Hamlet type of dynamic. And you have to have that kind of overview to make something that's contemporary like this stand. It has to have that kind of thing. You have the brothers, you have for the bastard son and King Lear, like, which Joseph Sakura is playing. You have, Hamlet himself with, or King Lear, blow winds blow, crack your cheeks. He's like, when he yells to old boy, go.
Shawn, when he yelled at Shawn.
Tell me that's not a Shakespearean type of moment.
That's powerful.
We've actually heard that. That was, the second time I heard that, that is very Shakespearean. Did you, just by the read, when you went on that Monday, were you able to tell that Power was going to be such a dynamic show from that moment?
From about the third time that we were on set, by the time we were doing the third episode, I did Do the Right Thing.
Yes, you did.
Many years ago.
Sorry, I got happy. My bad. I know your body of work. Sorry, interrupt you. Go ahead.
So I go and I do the Right Thing many years ago, and we were on the set about 2 weeks in, and we kind of all looked, me and Martin Lawrence and Sam Jackson and a bunch of other people. We all looked at each other and were kind of like, wow, this is intense. By this time, we got Stevie Wonder walking through the set. Reverend Jesse Jackson comes through. Eddie Murphy comes through on one of the night shoots, and we're like, okay, this is gonna be something. This is gonna be something else. Never did I think that it would be what it's become, but I had the same feeling. I've only had that feeling twice. With Do the Right Thing and with Power.
Wow, that's huge.
That's incredible.
You mentioned,
I sat there and I kind of went, after the third episode, after we had the read through for the third episode, I was like, ooh, it's on. I'm here now.
Yeah, and it's been on.
But it's what you alluded to, Bamm. It's experience. You can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel it. Actors sit on sets and producers sit around and they always think that they're doing the next, the next Raging Bull or the next whatever, and it's not always the case, man. Sometimes work is just work.
Yeah,
right.
You mentioned Do the Right Thing, and you mentioned Martin Lawrence. You are an actor who I'm sure people recognize you for many roles, but for me, I always think of two of the three roles that you actually played on Martin. One when you were the landlord, and two when you were the fixin' man when Martin came when Gina was in the hotel with Pam. It's always those two episodes when I see you, I always think that Martin.
Yeah.
So is there a role in particular that people recognize you from?
Man, what I've been afforded for a long time is anonymity, because I played so many different roles in so many different shows for so long. I just kind of like, it actually takes people about a half a block, I like to say, before they realize it. And usually behind me I hear, oh shit. And so it's about a half a block down the way, and we're in a period from like about 2005, 2004 forward where there's nothing that you can do that people don't see or can't latch onto. A lot of work I did was prior to that.
Right.
That's pre-internet, pre-Twitter, like the whole social media thing. So there was a lot of work that I was quietly doing. And I was in The Shield. I did a 3-episode arc in The Shield. I did Alias. I did a bunch of those shows that, like, I actually was out in LA and thinking, man, I wonder, is anybody seeing any of this stuff? And what Power's done, and I told this to Courtney, was it's made people go, wait a minute, I've seen this dude before, and they've gone back and go, whoa, okay. Because I've worked with a lot of rappers, and comedians. I worked with Martin. I worked with LL Cool J on the show called In the House. There's a lot of different stuff that's out there, and Power, God bless all those people, man, because what it's done, it's kind of like brought all that rushing back. So it's been good.
I have a question for you, Luis. What would you say is maybe your most favorite role or character that you've played, or most similar to who you are on a day-to-day?
Boy, what character is most similar to what I've done? Man, I it's a play. I did a play at Arena Stage called Stand-Up Tragedy, which was a play on kind of like the whole stand-up comedy thing. And this guy, and I was one guy, and I played multiple characters. I played an older brother, and I played my mother, and it was in front of 800 people a night, and it was that was the closest in terms of film and television. I don't know. I was trained to be an actor, so all of the characters that I played, I did a film called Latin Dragon where I played a cop, and there's a cop in me, there's a gangster in me, there's a teacher in me, there's a doctor in me, there's a mechanic in me. So all of them are a part of me. And you know, as an actor, if you have any experience, you know anything, you can't just pose. You gotta draw from something. You have to draw from the well, and the well is your wealth of experience. For me, as I've gotten older, it's gotten easier to access that well. Sometimes when you're younger, you don't have enough to draw from. There's not enough water in that well to draw from. As I've gotten older, it's gotten better. So, you know, I think this cat, Ruiz, is a combination of a lot of the guys that I grew up with.
Okay.
It says a lot about you as an actor. I'm always fascinated by actors when they play such a role so well that people, the public, tend to think that that's who they actually are. So maybe if someone were walking down the street, they're scared to talk to you. They think, you know what I'm saying?
Joseph Sakura is not. Omari's not like. Omari's a family man, devoted family man with 2 children. Notori is this wonderful daughter and singer to her mother. Joseph is like, you know, a family man who loves his family and his brothers and has a whole different life that has nothing to do with being Tommy.
Absolutely. Who are you, Luis? Who are you in real life?
I'm a cyclist and a sports enthusiast and primarily a cyclist. I spend a lot of time on my bike. You know, that's what keeps me fit and ready for my work. Except in the wintertime here in New York.
Yeah, you're not riding nowhere in the wintertime in New York.
Nothing in New York at that time. There were days we were shooting that. Remember that big scene when we were when we went into the Serbians' place to raid that thing?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ Almighty! There was ice on the river, and we were right near it.
Oh man.
It was just buck wild cold. I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? I was like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
12 hours, 12, 13 hours.
Oh, wow.
You know? But it was great. You know, and I'm single and I ride my bike and just kind of like try to take care of my family, you know, what's left. My dad just recently passed. And
Sorry.
Yep. But he was good, man. He went out like a champ. He's a bad man.
Yeah.
And my dad, there's a lot of my dad in Bibora. There's a whole lot of my dad.
Any real life boxing experience?
I did, you know, I did a play called Camino Real. You know, I did a lot of theater stuff, man. And, you know, the theater is what taught me to commit. The theater is where I learned commitment, meaning that you had to be all in. And I think that's what you see, not just with myself, but I think you see that from the guys in the background in Power all the way through to Omari. You know, all the ladies are just amazing. What Notori's doing, what Layla's doing, what Big Red's doing. I like to call her Big Red.
Are you talking Lucy?
No, the key to this show is this: it is that the ball never drops. The air is never let out of the balloon. There's never a break. You can't just kind of go, okay, I could take a breath during this scene. You can't. You got to be like paying attention, like, whoa, what the hell's going on?
Edge of the seat.
Because and if you miss something, you got to go watch it again. And from what I understand, 9 out of 10 people got to go watch it again because they're just like,
yeah, we sure do. We definitely do.
So, Luis, before I let you go, there's one other thing that I want to say to you. Like I said, I have followed your work for many, many years. You are actually on one of my favorite old school shows of all time. You played the kid at the airport on a TV show called The White Shadow. Don't judge me. But I love The White Shadow. Don't judge me. I love that show. But that was literally the first TV episodic that you did with this other actor by the name of Alfred Woodard. So I follow you. So I would like to say that you are really truly one of the actors who I aspire to be because you are a working actor. Brother, you find a job. You consistently work, and you are truly one of the actors who I really aspire to be because just your body of work says it all. So thank you so much, and let everyone know where you could be found on social media.
I can be found at Luis A. Ramos Actor on Twitter. I'm Luis Antonio Ramos on Facebook, and I have a film that's going to be released sometime in late September called The Stockroom, with a guy named Victor Cruz and April Lee Hernandez and Lisa Colon Zayas, who happens to be David Zayas' wife, who was on what was that show where that dude was killing people all the time?
Dexter,
yeah. Remember the cop Dexter? His wife's his wife's in this film. We're all in this film together. It's a great little film that was shot here in New York. One of those things I was able to kind of like do while we were doing Power. You
were also in a film called, or you're doing a film called You Bury Your Own?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when is
that? Film You Bury Your Own. There's an episode of Madam Secretary where I actually play the president of Venezuela.
Nice. Okay. Well, you know what? You keep doing your thing. We are watching you, and we are certified fans of you. And so, keep doing your thing. We'll be watching.
Love you all. Thanks. Keep enjoying Power. Next week is the final episode of season 2. Can you imagine that?
I know. We're so sad about it. But we're excited for season 3.
Because we're sweet because we know season 3 is going to come. So, yeah.
And my fingers are crossed. Please stay alive.
Oh, you're the one person that Bamm does not want to kill off this week.
Because he's been killed off the children.
Everyone.
He killed the children.
He's gone. Hey, and I bet you everybody that thought that Shawn was going to get killed didn't think that it was going to be done by his father.
Right. Sure didn't.
Yeah.
Or in episode 9. It's normally the finale. But
we love you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you for what you're doing on the show and keeping the show alive and doing all the things that you're doing, talking about it. It's great. It's great to hear, and good job.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll see you later. Thank you so much.
Take care.
All right, thank you.
Right.
Bye.
Okay, all right, so now we got to literally dive right into this. Okay, so question. What the hell was Angela thinking? So did she really think that she was going to arrest Tommy? Did she think that she was then going to be the prosecutor to defend him, get him to testify against Lobos for a lesser plea deal, and then put him and his mother under federal witness protection?
Come on. Come on. Yes, she did, because she probably gets to do that. You know, when you get to do certain things in your job and you're just so used to things working out, or you just get the bad guy.
Yeah.
To her, it was, I got the bad guy. She wasn't even... Like when Ghost said a few scenes later, but I gave you Lobos,
right.
So you won't have to focus on Tommy. Even when he said that, she was looking like,
yeah,
like I want the bad guy. Tommy's the bad guy.
Yeah, she's got no love for Tommy. But you know, you're absolutely right. Angela really felt, I think, like she was on a winning streak. You know how it's like, oh, good, we got that boom, got that boom, like score. You know, I think that she really truly thought that she was winning and that she was gonna get Tommy and all that stuff locked up.
To me, it just seemed a little tick tick boom when after she brought Tommy down from prison down to the basement, the secret room. Tommy said, you know what, I'll just blab it. And you still think that you're just gonna take this man to jail? Like, this bitch is crazy. I'm sorry. You are crazy if you think you're gonna do all of this.
Right.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, she's sort of winging it, I think. But let me say this. Tommy did such a great job with his acting in this entire episode. It was mainly through his facial expressions. I don't know if y'all were reading it, but like towards Angela, he gave everything towards like just when he wanted to say something but he couldn't. I mean, his whole body language. I just had to give him super props for that this episode.
I agree, especially when he was in the room with his lawyer and he was like, if you want to catch this Lobos guy, I can't help. Can I go back to my cell?
Yeah. I was like, yeah. My favorite line in that scene was, he was like, there was a bunch of Mexicans in the room. Which one was he?
Which one was he? Can I go back to my cell now?
Yeah.
I was like, this dude.
Yeah.
Playing the game. I think he did an amazing job. I think what really stood out for me with Tommy this episode was his interaction with his mother, though.
That's great.
Like, it reminded me so much of him with Holly. I was like, wait, did you really just call your mom? What did he say? Something.
Ditzy bitch.
Yes.
After she kissed him in the mouth.
Yes.
Did you peep that?
We noticed that before, that their interaction before. Something, and it'll probably still unfold for us, but it's something real creepy.
Yeah.
I'm going to defend Tommy just because she's a cokehead and she doesn't know any better. Tommy knows the streets better, so he had to, by all means,
shut her up.
Shut her the fuck up.
Yep. And I don't think he needed any defense in this, because I agreed with that scene. I was just like, yeah, like, come on. Like, she was really, like, ditzy in that room. Like, there's mics around here, there's cameras around here, there's people through that mirror. You know that. Where you're supposed to know that, so.
She's coked up. I mean, half the time. I'm pretty sure her logic was like, phew.
Come on, man.
They're going to take the house. They're going gotta take everything.
Yeah,
She was just
an
paranoid.
emotional wreck.
Another thing for me when Tommy was in jail is the relationship between he and Proctor, the lawyer.
Yeah.
Proctor told Tommy that that Ghost was late to the drug drop off, in which Ghost wanted Proctor to say that. I have to question and throw this question out to you. Is Tommy, is that what a real friend does? Because now I feel that there's some trust issues, and I don't feel Tommy should fully be able to trust him because he lied.
Right.
Tommy knows that Ghost will never be late to the money drop. Number one, so he lied, and then number two, if I was Tommy and Ghost was my homeboy, I will feel a certain way that you put me in jail
And you're not here with me.
and you're not here with me.
Yeah.
For me, the whole street code in which Ghost told Angela, I feel like you broke our street code and now I'm ready to break ankles.
Right. Well, clearly that's sort of what he's feeling in this episode, especially in the beginning. Tommy, he's clearly confused, right? He's just like, "What's up? I'm in here." And then there was a scene where he was walking. There were the two lines, and he thought that he saw him from the side. He's like, "Gee," I think that was his moment of being like, "That's not you. Where is Ghost?
Where is Ghost?"
Yeah. So he's just totally confused. But I think you're right when he's with Proctor. Jerry Ferrara, he's great. I liked his role in this. I hope he continues on a little bit. But anyway, I think that it was great, the whole breakdown of that, and I think that he definitely doesn't believe him, and it's sort of meant for him to be confused right now.
I still think though that he sort of still has that trust in Ghost to handle it though, because regardless of what, like, okay, what's his name? Proctor explains what he's doing. Like, your friend is paying top dollar for me to be here. So he's like, okay, in the back of my mind, all right, Ghost got this under some kind of control, which is why I think he kind of let things rock.
I agree with you because even when he got out, I would at least punched him real quick in the mouth first and been like,
But let's think about it though. All Tommy needed to be sure that Ghost was on his side was for him to do something to Angela, and Ghost knew that. So the whole thing was Tommy was like, you and Ghost working together, because he keeps saying it, and he even said it to this time when he saw Angela at in the hole wherever he met up with her. Y'all working together and y'all trying to sell me out. But the minute Ghost flipped on him, that's what turned Tommy. If Ghost would have never done that, I don't think that Tommy would have came out as happy or as chummy with Ghost as he was, because basically, if I were on the outside looking in and I were Tommy, I would basically say, okay, so basically Ghost is done with Angela now because he flipped on her. There's no turning back. You can't fix that relationship, so he's all team me now.
Did you see
That's
that chuckle
all, it was like
too?
a pacifier.
He laughed, like he looked at her like, you got yours now, when that evidence came out too. So
Yeah.
good point. I strike what I just said.
No, you had a good point though.
But, okay, now Greg snooping to me is becoming more obvious, and it proves it proves my theory, because he is constantly just lurking, just peeking, just peeking. When Angela was talking with Mike, he listened to the conversation, then he goes over. So did you tell Mike that?
I have a question though. Do you guys think that it's solely from a professional standpoint, or he hated, he vexed,
I think it's both. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my question. My question is, do you think that Greg wants James St. Patrick in prison because a professional, or do you think it's because it's personal, because of the relationship and that he can have Angela to himself, or as I said, because I think he's the insider to Lobos.
You think he's a mole? Oh, that's true. You did say that.
I forgot you said that.
That's a good twist on it.
Yeah, it's a good twist.
Because he's too thirsty. Like, he's too thirsty trying to get always asking questions about Ghost.
Who informed you? And you're right. Yeah, well, maybe.
And Lobos did say when they were on the rooftop that he had an inside. So
I think it's a combination of all of those, including what you just said, Bamm, possibly. But it's definitely a situation that I think is, so not only did Angela step out and I'm salty because she's not with me no more, but come to find out she's not with me for the dude that we're really after.
Right.
So, and I have to find out this information by following you, which is a super simp move. But in his thing, he's like, okay, so are you working with him? Because at this point, you wouldn't know. if Angie knew that Ghost was connected to Tommy and he knows what her job is, and you see her linking up with this dude, linking up with Holly, linking up with all these people connected, you automatically think that she's a part of it. I would think she was a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I agree, but this was actually the scene where we finally get to see that he actually does say something to Angela, like, I've been following you. So I was glad, because I was like, listen, how many more scenes can we watch Greg, you know what I'm saying, following Angie? It's just like, come on now. So I was glad that, okay, we're moving forward from this. So yeah, I think it's a combination of things, though, too.
Okay. Now, question. Do you think that... should Angela be mad that she got played?
No.
She's salty.
She's salty.
I mean, Ghost warned her. He warned her several times. When I even make the quote, he says violates everything to betray a friend. Better consider carefully. There are consequences to her actions. I mean, he warned her all throughout the episode.
He sure did.
He did. But she has a right to be salty, but she should have expected it. But when you mix business with pleasure, then that's what happens. You get burned. The thing is, Angela wants to be able to initially tell Ghost that Tommy was on the chopping block, which was bad right there. Because if she didn't want this to have happened eventually, what did she think was going to happen? You tell me my dog is getting investigated and I'm just supposed to be like, oh, cool, so we good now? We good? The fact that she even did that right there says that she didn't understand what she was actually doing or what she was getting into.
That's the point. Ghost told her at one scene, he said, you're from the neighborhood too. That means Angie forgot who she was dealing with. She thought she was dealing with Jamie, this club owner, this corporate, whatever. Yeah. Yes, but she forgot, not that she had to know that he's Ghost, but she forgot that she's dealing with the dude from the street. So she just let her guard down. And so no, you can't necessarily be mad at that, because she thinks she's playing dirty. You know what I'm saying? She thinks she's smart, but you forgot that you're messing with a dude who's from the same neighborhood as you, and he's probably playing just as smart, if not smarter, clearly.
Agree. And there was something that I noticed. There was a lot of I won't say nitpicking, but there was a lot of things that was being charged at Ghost. From Angela's perspective, Jamie, you've changed. And then you have Tasha and Tommy, Tasha, you've changed, Ghost, you've changed. And so change to me seemed to be one of the big themes for Saturday's episode. And so has Ghost changed and has Jamie changed, or are they so wrapped up into their emotions that they are forgetting, as you said, he's both?
I think, you can go ahead, Kennelia.
I don't know if he necessarily has changed, but what I gather from Jamie / Ghost is that he shows people what they need to see. And he has done this. Look at Tasha. Tasha just found out now when he started cheating on her that she wasn't in a real relationship, because he was showing her what she wanted to see.
Yeah.
Like, he was showing, that's what she was surprised. Like, what you mean? Like, this is a fraud, because he was showing her what she wanted. He's been showing Tommy what Tommy needs to see to keep Tommy at bay, that he's the street dude, he's all about the street life. He's showing people inside the club that he's all about the club business. That's what he's showing. So I don't know if he's necessarily changing. I think Ghost he's an actor. Ghost is an actor. He has so many different personas, but he knows who to show you to keep you doing what you're going to be doing and keep you thinking what you're going to think about him.
Yeah, Jay-Z said it best, though, in my opinion. He said, you think I work this hard to stay the same? So I do think that Ghost is changing. I think that Jamie is changing, but I think that he's changing for the better, and the people around him. When you're doing for yourself, you want to bring everybody along. Like, yo, we don't have to do that anymore. We can move forward and we can be clean and all that stuff. But unfortunately, nobody wants to move with him. So that's what I think, that, yeah, he is changing, but as he should.
And I think, to answer your question, Bamm, I feel like a lot of them are really wrapped up in their emotions, especially like Tasha. She's just going through all of this stuff where she's like, okay, well, he doesn't want to be with me, he wants to be with Angie, and so she's like dealing with that. You're not the same person, but at the same time, he's still making those moves. He's making those chess moves, and is like, if she lets him be Ghost, the Ghost that she knows, then she'll understand that he got it. That's what he told her, I got this.
Ooh, that was good. And he beat on his chest too. He was like, I said I effing got this. I mean, exactly. I love that scene.
So let me ask this question. So is it smart or dumb of Tasha to move away, never be seen or heard? Is it possible? Will he find her? And now you want to bring Shawn, the Tariq, the kids?
I think she's scared. But
I agree. She's scared. If you were married to a street dude and his right hand got locked up, the right hand called you and said, "Where the hell is your husband? I'm locked up and Ghost is nowhere to be found." You find out that Ghost is just somewhere kicking it with this imaginary plan that nobody knows about, and he's still dating the woman who put his right hand in jail. He's still with her. Automatically, as someone with a family and with someone who knows they can lose it all, I think in her mind the plan made sense. But then when she incorporated like Shawn into what he gonna do?
Right, he ain't gonna have no job.
Right,
number one. So you got to start all over again, and it's not gonna be a street dude that you're used to being with Ghost.
And he ain't saving.
I think at that
he's gonna be all in your face. Like, it's just,
at that point, I think she was just kind of desperate. I think when Keisha put in her mind, "Are you really gonna do this by yourself?" It's like, who is she gonna call her mama?
Right.
Her mama about all that.
Right.
So I just think at that point she's desperate, and she feels that might be the only person who got her back. So
yeah, and unfortunately, women have a tendency to live off of that moment, that love, that affection that she was receiving from Shawn, but not necessarily thinking that's not gonna last forever. You know, this is gonna die down, and then reality happens, and you're gonna be like my baby daddy to the kids. I mean, it's just, you know,
the same age out here. Like, you the same age
shaky
to
plan, Tasha shaky.
it was funny when Keisha was like, $200,000. What you gonna do with that?
Yeah.
That's your shoe allowance.
So as we go into the big bulk of the story, my question is, do you guys think that Tasha is the cause for Shawn to be killed due to the pillow talk she shouldn't have been having with him in the first place?
I think she has to. I don't think she publicly is going to take ownership for any part of this, even if she finds out what really happened.
She's gonna pass out on the casket. She's gonna sing Amazing Grace. Oh, she's going to go in when she finds out that Shawn is dead.
She's gonna be singing Going Up Yonder.
Going Up Yonder. Low key though, she might not care, but on the low. But
I'm have to agree with
right,
you.
I think she'd be like, "Dang, this messed up." But
keep it moving.
she's like, it was an extra body, you know, extra head, mouth to feed. But I think that she plays a role, because as soon as he started getting some Kuda Mama, he turned into this whole other guy. If Shawn would never have gotten this extra boost of confidence, he would have just been riding this little wave. He would have still been under his father, and he still would have wanted Kanan's support. But ain't nothing like having the woman of your dreams behind you talking about, "Yeah, baby, you can do this." But he had a cape on.
Yeah.
He grew a pair. So I don't think it was her fault or that she has to take responsibility, but she played a part. He gonna text her talking about "love you." I'm love you. I was like, oh, he's done.
I do think, okay, so Tasha has a little bit to play with that, but I also feel that Kanan has a lot to do with how he's acting too, because, you know, he's at the point now where he's seeing Dre too, Dre rubbing it all in his face, like, you know, you sure you got this? And I think at this point he just feels like he has to prove himself, you know, to his dad, and to prove Dre wrong, and then, you know, Tasha like, yo, I can take care of this too. So it's a mixture to me of all of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily put it on Tasha too much, and I would agree with you that it's more about Kanan, because let's talk about the scene. Let's talk about when he's, you know, the plan was, okay, drive into the you know, alley and then put his music on. He's listening to the playback of his dad in his mind. He's like, okay, so this is the guy who is in his mind, and he's maneuvering him. Okay, yeah, play the music, you know, okay, be calm, you know what I'm saying? So it's clearly Kanan, and it's just it's definitely Kanan's fault, but it's Shawn's fault for being so gullible, really. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at yourself. Like, you let this man get into your head and just try to maneuver you to make some decisions that you're not big enough for. And so I'm glad that scene did not work out, you know, that the cop stopped him and was just like, I don't know that he was going to do it. I think that something would have happened anyway.
Do you think he would have done it?
No, clearly not.
Do you think he would have done it?
No.
I don't think he would have done it either.
Yeah.
And then I also think that Shawn made so many bad moves. Again, he had to die, because after you pull the gun on Ghost. Then he tells you don't have a suit, like you don't know about this life,
right?
And your daddy didn't tell you.
And your daddy didn't tell you. And then when he tells him that you need to be better, go to New York.
Yeah.
Why the hell would then you go to your daddy to give him the last final words that you ain't shit, you ain't my daddy, knowing that
crazy.
You gave the man. You laid the gun right on the table, but you died.
Yeah, I mean, but who thinks their daddy's gonna shoot them though?
I'm sorry. Oops.
Sorry. But you know what? For Shawn to even pull the gun out on Ghost and not just boom take him out shows that you're a little boy. You're gonna give him time. You're gonna have a conversation with him while you got a gun to his head. It's like if you pull it out, you better use it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're really not about that life. Like Omari did the whole Krav Maga, type of move where he took the gun from him, and you know what I'm saying? He was choking him out like this. F boy, what do you call him? I mean, it was such a dope scene. But again, to Amari, he did a fantastic job in this scene as well. He's been acting his butt off, y'all. Like he needs some props for that. He's been really doing a great job.
He'll definitely be nominated for the NAACP.
He's got to be.
Awards.
That one scene that Luis that he referred to, the go, like when he yelled at Shawn, go, like if you could see the smoke or what was it when it's cold outside and you see the steam come out of his mouth. I mean, such a great shot right there. You know what I mean? But he's so merciful.
So
not to kill Shawn right there.
So any thoughts on the confrontation between Shawn and Ghost before we have any final thoughts on Shawn and Kanan?
I just thought it was unfortunate, and it shows that Ghost has been more of a father to Shawn than Kanan was.
Yeah.
The fact that Kanan sent him out to do his dirty work, didn't tell him, so you're gonna need another suit. He just basically gave him a gun, was like, kill him. But even after Shawn buffed up and basically said, me and your wife been kicking it, Ghost still was like, you know what? Just go, because killing him in Ghost's mind would have been pointless. Kill you for what? You already you're not a street dude. Your daddy's crazy. I'm done with you. So it'd just be better for him to disappear. And it's just unfortunate that Shawn had to learn at that moment that your daddy wasn't shit. Pretty much. Like, my daddy ain't shit. Like, he sent me out here on this goon mission for no reason, for his own retaliation.
Yeah. So then he goes back to Kanan, like you said. Kanan was clearly like, you disappointed me once again, and all of that. And it was such a sad scene, and I knew it was coming. I just knew it was coming. Like, and then Shawn tried to walk away and just tried to start his life all over again, and Kanan dirty self.
And then you told your daddy, again, because he's young, dumb, and he just, poor thing, didn't know any better, because not only did you walk away turning your back, you also then said, I'm about to leave and go with Tasha.
Right.
Poor thing.
The one thing nobody's supposed to know, you just said out your mouth.
On top of that, he's dying and he's reaching for his cell phone. I don't know who he was gonna call with text, but I think Tasha.
I thought that, but that scene was funny. Goes to her. Kanan was like, get that phone.
Who you gonna call? Who you gonna call? Number one? You gonna call mommy? You gonna call Ghost?
But did y'all think that Kanan regrets it? Because he had a look on his face that he was like, shit, like,
for a split second. But then when he picked up his phone to call Dre, it just showed me right there everything I needed to know. Like, he never saw him as his son. He thinks Dre is his son, like, in a sense, So I don't know.
That was heartbreaking. We're sorry to see you go, Shawn. Sinqua, you did a great job. As Shawn.
Bamm killed you episodes ago, but
now it's a reality.
Only thing I'll say about this is, I thought, in your words, I thought it was a cold piece for him to die. It's for a series regular to die episode 9, and you can't even make the full season 2.
Yeah,
Courtney, I have some questions for you. Okay. So now let's go into Kenelia's cold piece. DJ, hit the beat.
Cold piece of the week for episode 9 of season 2 of Power goes to Kanan, obviously. I don't think anybody is in disagreement with this. And I made a list of the things that Kanan was a piece of shit for. He was terrorizing the community as soon as he got out of prison with that Pelly Pell coat on. He was responsible for pink sneakers in the whole situation with her. Popping up on Tasha like some dude that sent the "Hey You" text that be hitting you up on your cell phone. He disappeared and came back on the Chinatown bus. Cold for that. He cut Dre's friend's tongue out. He shattered Dre's poor little dreams about getting off the block. He killed his own son. He killed his own son after sending him out to kill Ghost because, like Shawn said, you just a bitter old thug. And now, Dre, you gonna get the cold piece set because you still hanging with this dude. He gonna kill you too. So let us know online who your cold piece of the week should be. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook using hashtag cold piece.
Kennelia, you on fire today.
With that Pelly Pel coat on her, that
it was like studded. Like, come on, dude. It's rhinestones.
But we love you, 50.
We do love you, 50. Not you, Kanan. We love this was Kanan.
Oh Lord. So let's go. Let's go into predictions.
Damn, I can't.
That was good.
I'll go because Bamm is
Bamm is dying over there.
Bamm joking. Dre's toast, like I said. Okay. I only think Dre is toast now because I originally said that I think Shawn is going to kill Dre. But once you find out that the dude that you rolling with killed his son, I think something's gonna happen with Dre going to Ghost with the scary look, like, yo, your boy is a little whatever. Because I just don't see Dre being the type of guy he wants to be, having this focus on his family, wanting to get off the block. I don't see him still looking at Kanan the same way, and I think that's gonna cause something. And I wouldn't doubt if Kanan killed him too.
Mm-hmm. Me, okay. So it's sort of obvious the way that Angela and Greg were talking at the end of the episode, and they were trying to build a case against Ghost, and she said, let's take him down. And that to me was like a little too obvious to actually take him down. So I figure maybe she said, tell me everything you know about St. Patrick. So she's trying to get all the information that he knows, possibly to go try to actually save him this time, actually try to, get him out of a situation. Because going back to a previous episode when she said a woman will do anything for a man that she's in love with, I know they're supposed to be salty with each other and mad at each other, but that might come into play.
Interesting. I'm curious to see that happen. For me, I'm thinking of something completely different outside of the whole situation with Angela and the trial and all of this stuff. I'm thinking that Stern is going to come back. And, of course, we didn't touch on it, but, the office was all tossed up and stuff. So I think, I forget his name, but the one who took Jamie's office, I think he and Jamie either are going to get into it because the numbers either aren't going to add up, or he found the paperwork that from the previous nights, basically prevent him from making his goal. So I think they're going to have some issues in the next episode. So.
Speaking of Stern, I think that Ghost is going to actually set Cantos up. His whole disposition totally changed when he walked into the office to tell him about the party. Mm-hmm. He told Cantos, get off the phone. Mm-hmm. Like, he yelled at him like he was still the boss. Mm-hmm. So his whole disposition has changed, and he's out to get Stern and Ghost. And I think the way to do that, excuse me, is to do something to Cantos.
Okay, and to go to that point, did you see one of the very last scenes was that Cantos walked into the office and it was ransacked? Yeah. So that might be something to that.
I agree also with your theory as far as that would be too easy with the whole Angela and Ghost situation. Now, Tommy in the previews goes to Kanan and says that Ghost set him up. So I think that Tommy and Ghost has a plan to take down Kanan. Yeah. Because at this point, excuse me, Kanan actually needs to die, be killed, stabbed.
Please.
He needs to don't just kill him, but you need to rip his body parts. He has to go because I can't see him coming into season 3 and still causing and wreaking havoc. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering how this takedown is going to go. So it appears that Tommy goes to Kanan, pretending as if I just got out of jail and now I don't trust this whole Ghost. And so I think that's the probably plan. But like I said, there has to be a bloodbath between the drug lords, Tommy, Ghost, Dre, and somebody else has to die.
Yeah. Real quick too, maybe Kanan's gonna try to flip and say that Shawn and put the Shawn murder on Ghost.
That too, yeah.
Well, we don't know any of that, but hopefully one of these predictions come true. What I am doing is calling 50 Cent out. Come on our show because that would be the perfect perfect ending to our, finale as well. So 50 Cent, come on in, brother. Skype in like your boy did.
Yeah. So let everyone know where you guys can be found on social media.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Kennelia. Also on iTunes at Happy Hour Podcast.
You can find me at Robin Ayers on all social media or my website, it's robinayers.com.
And you can find me at Janeisha_Miss VI on all social media.
And you can find me on all social media at Bamm Ericsen. Thank you guys for tuning in AfterBuzz TV for Power. We want to also thank our special guest, Mr. Luis Antonio Ramos, who plays the character of Ruiz. So thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, the finale, there's going to be a lot to discuss and maybe some surprises. So keep it locked, and we'll see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.